What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We got the final UFC pay-per-view of the year, UFC 296, Edwards versus Covington. And boy, is this a stacked card. So go down, like, and subscribe before we jump into it, and comment what y'all's picks are for this card because it's stacked with talent and great fights. I'm Paul, pick and win of Contra, and I'm joined with.
Hey man, you already know it's your boy Kev, Waterboy, your boy, aka the Street Fight Enthusiast, aka the Dom PYE, aka the realest on your screen. And boy, how woo! If you guys don't get to see like the stuff we do before we click record. For like the last 3 weeks in a row, I kept asking Paul, like, yo, is it UFC 296 yet? Is it UFC 296 yet? Is it UFC 296 yet? Like, this fucking card is fucking stacked. This is how you end the fucking year. And more than anything, I think this card has the best poster I've ever seen when it comes to MMA. You got Leon Edwards on one side, you got Kobe on the other, and they're both wearing their blue coats and red coats with UFC boxing gloves on. And I was just like, oh, they snap with the motherfucking they snapped with the motherfucking with the poster.
They did. I mean, simple. I haven't watched the All Access, or not all. I haven't watched the countdown yet. I haven't watched any of it, but I just know like Kobe had dropped some fire one-liners in the past. He says like, "Bro, we beat the British in 1776. We do that shit again." Like all that. He was dropping bars along the way, and I just know my boy's coming, quote unquote, to make America great again.
No, he said that at least 4 times. But I watched the countdown literally a couple hours ago, and Kobe is the definition of a person that is. Kobe could probably be one of the most likable people in the world, but not in a popular way. Like Kobe is probably a genuinely kind person, but the character that he decided to choose to gain his popularity is what makes him a disgusting bitch. So it's tough because like watching that countdown, I was looking at because he went to go visit the Coast Guard. And I'm just looking at how he can entertain people. He can make people feel like make them feel like somebody and make them really feel like that. And the way that like he's the essence of like the champion that you want to go do all the Make a Wish Foundation shits. But Kobe plays a character, so that's a bitch ass motherfucker. So it's interesting.
Hey,
But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about him this in the last like couple hours or so.
he's like anyone that watches South Park out there. He's like Butters. Butters is the most likable person ever, but then he has Doctor Chaos, his
Yeah, literally.
his alter ego, and Doctor Chaos is only here to stir up trouble.
Literally, and that's funny because Kobe's nickname is Chaos.
Um, right on cue, bro. Right on cue. I
Yeah,
didn't even mean that.
and I don't, and I don't want to make this whole episode about Kobe, but the last thing I want to know, what I found out about bro, is that bro was a fucking like an accomplished high school wrestler, and the way it goes about it is he didn't motherfucking like he only won one state championship at 171 his senior year in 2006. When I tell you, I learned a lot about Kobe these last couple hours. I learned a lot. So, but he got recruited to go to Iowa by Dan Gable.
The one and
And
only.
yeah, like Dan Gable to be coached by Tom Barnes or Tim Barnes. I always forget his name. Tim Burns or something like that. And he was the man in Iowa. The reason why he fucking had to leave Iowa is because he got a DUI. Because motherfucking, if you understand wrestling and you understand sports, at Iowa, wrestling probably comes before everything just because of the family infrastructure that they built at that D1 place. So, yo, being a man on that team, being the big new recruit at like 19, bro, you living your best life. He made a mistake, ended up going JUCO, and then he ended up going to Oregon State and All American at Oregon State, and then he went to his first BJJ tournament and won the Feli World Tournament. And I'm just like, yo, like Kobe is low key like a raw motherfucker.
Not many. They don't just hand that out.
Yeah, like he's low key raw, but he's a bitch.
But I mean, and a lot of these fights we're going to talk about, you were saying like this guy, he's the guy. A lot of the people we're going to be talking about, they're the guy come wherever their background is, whether like even in their camps. Like a lot of these fighters train together nowadays, but a lot of people on this card is the guy at that, like, is the guy that represents that gym the best. Like, it is
Yeah,
like we're seeing the head alpha of a lot of these everything they're in. So that's what makes this card so exciting because these are literally the best of the best right now. Some big
and,
favorites though, but
and
still.
notice how CKB didn't get invited to. He didn't get invited for anybody to represent them. You know, we know
Oh,
we
Casey O'Neill. Oh no, she's at
oh,
extreme. She's at extreme couture or couture.
I was about to say, let me find out. But I was like, nah, we working on stuff we went back to the drawing board. Right now we figuring things out over there.
Yeah, and let's jump right into not the main card yet. We'll start off with the featured prelim because it is a great card. I mean, shout out Casey O'Neill who's also on the card. She's first fight back since the loss. Former champion Cody No Love Garbrandt's on the card. Dustin Jacoby, Alonzo Minfield, great little fight right there, a light heavyweight. And then even the opening fight, your boy Randy Brown, the Haitian sensation himself, is going to be on the card, going against Muslim Saklikov, the king of kung fu. We
Is he
could
Haitian?
I know he's Jamaican. I apologize. Haitian sensation is old boy that
He's
lost
talking
to
about OSP.
Neil
He's talking
Magny.
about OSP. Oh, Neil Magny. Okay.
But what's his nickname? I can't remember Randy Brown's nickname, but he has a fire ass nickname. But he's smooth with it. He's like the Jamaican Kevin Law Holland, I think we said he was. But
Mm.
great card overall. Let's get into the featured prelim. All Americans right here. Bryce Mitchell, fill-in fighter last minute to take on Josh Emmett. Bryce Mitchell minus 235 favorite. Josh Emmett plus 190. Big underdog. Both of them coming off probably not their best fights in the last year. We got Emmett, 2 back-to-back losses, the interim belt to Yair, and the Illa Topuria loss. And then Bryce Mitchell, who got dismantled by Illa Topuria. But then he ends up getting the win over Dan Ige, where he brought the Bible into the octagon. How do you feel about your boy Bryce? How do you feel about Josh Emmett?
I mean, more than anything, you already know how we come in when it comes to Bryce. We big Arkansas,
Big
and I'm always gonna love Bryce Mitchell because he's a submission specialist. I feel like the shit that he does on the ground really makes things very uncomfortable, and he kind of can just make you. He can find a submission in a lot of different spots. But I don't know how much that means against Josh Emmett and his striking this fight. Because I think this fight's gonna be a lot of on your feet. And I think Ilya Taporia kind of fucked up Bryce Mitchell at all three phases of all three levels and all the phases of MMA. But I think it was what he did to him on his feet that kind of demoralized bruh and led to him being finished by submission versus like. So I don't know if Bryce Mitchell can bang with Josh Emmett, but I do know I'm picking bro to win this fight.
I got Josh Emmett in this fight mainly because everyone talks about Bryce Mitchell and his stand up against Barbosa, how he dropped him and all that. But I think it was more Barbosa had to be so worried about the takedowns that it allowed him to drop him. But when he went up against Taporia, someone who wasn't worried about the takedowns, he got dismantled, just like you said. And I think Josh Emmett, with the wrestling background of his, he doesn't shoot a lot of takedowns, but he has great takedown defense. And if Bryce can't get him on the ground, and he gets stuffed a few times, and especially he gets close, Josh Emmett has the heaviest hands in the division. And
But
the only worry I would have with Emmett though is he is 38 and he's older at this point in his career, and he's coming off of the 2 losses where he got dismantled. Like Yair, yeah, he submitted him, but Yair tore him up throughout that fight. And then the win over Calvin Cater, the split decision win over Cater, the fight before that, Cater was like it was a lot of damage on Josh Emmett's face after that fight. Ilya Taporia, same thing. It was a 5 round like dismantling. At 38 years old, I am a little bit worried about Josh Emmett's like miles on him at this point. I'm still gonna rock him, especially a almost 2-1 underdog. I think we could see him get the big upset here.
Yeah, I mean, damn, Josh Emmett is a 2-1 underdog.
Yeah, like in plus 190 to Mitchell's minus 235. I thought it'd be closer to a pickup.
Yeah, I thought it would be a pick 'em. That's
And
facts.
Bryce is the fill-in fighter. He came in 2 week notice.
Yeah, and he's coming off of well, I mean, he did just get off the win, and maybe it's because he brought the Bible in there with him. But let's see. Let's see. That's actually a great way to start off the card to finish the prelim. So we'll see how this shit goes.
And you rocking with Arkansas's finest?
Oh, hey man, they keep telling me to come out. They keep telling me I ain't gonna be shit. I ain't gonna be motherfucking shit if I keep it tanking. If I keep bringing up Arkansas, but niggas on the motherfucking stand. I'm from Arkansas. And I'm gonna bring up motherfucking Arkansas everywhere I motherfucking go. Arkansas, like I can. When I heard that, I was like, I'm rooting for you every time.
every time.
Every time.
And then our next fight to start the fucking main card off. He's a big favorite here. Minus 370, Ian Garry taking on plus 280, Vicente Luque, who we rode off in his last fight, and we looked absolutely foolish whenever he just like 5 round mauled RDA. And Ian Garry, we've been riding the hype train all the way. He knocked out Danny Rodriguez, and after that, then he gets the Neil Magny unanimous decision win. This will be his fourth fight in 2023. Does he get the fourth win over once again another step up? And he's continually stepped up in competition along the way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely gonna. I'm definitely picky Ian Garry, but I don't know if I'm on the hype train right now because of all the shit that's been going on
The
Twitter when he talking about his wife and the girl and the husband and the niggas that cut.
Sean, the Sean Strickland made opened your eyes.
Yeah, and then Sean Strickland will be like, bro, I don't want to, but if that's what it is, we can handle that. So like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to this press conference because I know Kobe and Ian Garry are gonna be going back and forth. I can see that one clear as day. So we'll see how it goes. I am trusting Ian Garry though, because I do like him to get I like him to just stay so active, especially after I saw what he did to Neil Magny. Like him to just stay active, him to stay and stay pressuring Vicente Luque, and probably get a finish just from smothering, bro.
I will say also, outside of the stuff that's going on in Ian Gary's personal life, he has also disabled his comments on Instagram. So like he does seem to be in that little like he's only 20 something years old. Like he might be mental fragile. Who knows? Like type thing. Like it's gonna be a loud ass crowd. And like we saw Chris Gutierrez fight with the fan in the Apex last week. Hopefully Ian Garry can handle the pressure. I think he will. But he's still young, and he is going through a lot on the sidelines right now. He's going through it.
I think it's just funny to watch the way that MMA community can like be all for you one day and then just be like, oh, this guy fucking sucks.
But it'll
And
turn
like,
on you in a fucking instant, bro. Look at Kamaru Usman. Like he was once the mythical fighter of welterweight, bro. Now it's like dust and bones with no knees over there.
facts. Like he was literally pound for pound #1 when we started covering MMA.
Now it's a fucking old dusty fart.
Facts.
But the other thing too is Ian Garry. Outside of all that stuff, the other thing that's came out is he was sparring with Leon Edwards. They got some training in together. Leon Edwards dropped him with a head kick. I know it's Leon Edwards, but still, like so close to a fight day to get dropped by a head kick. And let me tell you, as you know, Kev, Vicente Luque throws a lot of fucking head kicks and throws them as well as anybody.
Oh wow! So this shit is a setup.
Yeah, like Ian Garry got dropped by a head kick. Leon Edwards was like, I didn't clean cut KO him, and they're like, but it happened. And he's like, yeah, like yeah, it happened.
Mm. And then did you hear about Ian Garry and the Leon Edwards going to Leon Edwards camp and shit?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. The head kick that dropped him in camp.
Yeah. Oh, that was at Leon Edwards thing.
Yeah, that was with in Manchester. This was Leon like I want to say a week ago.
Oh shit.
Like it was right, like it's very recent. You know, that's not good for fighters to take like a knockout damage prior to a fight. I'm still gonna rock with him though. But I will say, let's point out if Luque lands a head kick KO, we'll know why.
That should be crazy.
And I mean, they're not both Irish, but from one UK like Europe fighter prospect to another, Paddy Pimblett minus 300 favorite going up against Tony Ferguson. Kev, I mean, we all know kind of like Paddy might be the biggest fraud prospect there is. He arguably lost his last fight to Jared Gordon. He's now taking on Tony Ferguson, who, if he loses this fight, he will tie the record for UFC consecutive losses in a row with 6. Let's put it like that. How do you feel about this Paddy Tony Ferguson matchup?
Um, I think it's just one of those fights where you I'm not expecting this shit to go all 3 rounds. Expecting explosion. I'm expecting a KO. And I'm not gonna lie to you. We've been screaming Tony Ferguson might need to hang them things up for like a good year and a half now. I think this one might be the one where it kind of proves that if he comes in showing that father time is still catching up with him.
Not only that, his chin, the Bobby Green fight, Bobby was landing like a jab, and Tony was like, whoa, like fucking Mr. Krabs meme. He didn't know where he was. Like, I don't think Paddy's good at all. I think he's gonna get exposed, but the UFC set him up with someone that he can put to a resume. This is like the Gamboa of boxing. You just line him up with Gamboa, get a nice little name on the resume, and it'll look good later on. But like Tony Ferguson, the only reason why I don't think he'll win is his chin is gone. Tony Ferguson, Paddy can hit him with a straight shot and it will drop him. I agree. It probably will end in a knockout submission. I think Paddy will be the one that gets his hand raised here. There's a reason why he's minus 300. And then our next fight on another big favorite. This arguably could be the best prospect at welterweight. Shavkat Rakhmonov. No longer really a prospect. He's ranking the top like 5. Taking on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Rakhmonov, biggest favorite on the card, minus 725 to Wonderboy's plus 475, almost plus 500 odds on Wonderboy here. Coming off the win over Kevin Holland in UFC Orlando, where Holland broke his hand. And Rakhmonov, 17 wins, 17 finishes, 9 submissions, 8 knockouts.
And his last fucking fight was a standing submission to Geoff Neal and shit.
Standing, bro, nasty with it.
Literally. And I think this fight matches up really, really well. The styles match each other well. And I'm just happy they didn't hold Wonder Boy because, like, you know how he didn't take his last fight because his opponent missed weight. And usually in situations like that, you think they pull out some bullshit. I think this is the best way of holding him, making him go against a top 5 dude. If you're talking about you want to be in the title rank, this is what the top 5 looks like in Shavkat. But the matchups, well, like everybody considers Wonder Boy one of the greatest kickboxers ever, and the fact that he can hit so quick, he has speed, and more than anything, like when you're coming in, he can utilize that and use your own energy against you and catch you on your way in. So Wonder Boy and Shavkat being a great striker and somebody that doesn't move his head much and continues walking forward, it's gonna be a great fucking fight. I'm taking Shavkat for sure, but like, this is gonna look fun.
And I will say one thing that doesn't get brought up a lot with Wonder Boy is his footwork is probably arguably the best in UFC. Where that is one of his key takedown defense, like one of his key things in his utility box is basically his footwork is so nice he doesn't usually get caught in positions where an easy takedown happens. You have to usually work for that takedown. And he's worked really good on his takedown defense itself that, like, with that combination, it's hard to get him to the mat. I'm taking Shavkat as well, but I think it will be a submission. I think Wonder Boy will look good on the feet, but Shavkat has a way to get you to the ground. It isn't, he does take shots on the way in, but he has like that fucking Wolverine blood or something where he's okay with it. And then now on to the title fights, Kev. Back-to-back title fights, doubleheader of belts on the line this Saturday night. Brandon Royval is challenging the new crown champion of flyweight, Alexandre Pantoja. Pantoja is a minus 190 favorite. Royval plus 160 favorite. Some of the closer odds of the night, Kev. How do you feel about this one?
Man, shout out Alexander Pantoja. Man, when he won that championship, that shit felt so good. He looked in the bitch, and then he looked in the camera. He goes, "Dad, look at me now," and I'm just like, "Oh, that's fine." So we got nothing but love for Pantoja. But after watching the countdown, doing a little bit of research, I fuck with Brandon Royval too. I found out that he's a hitter. He's had to deal with some setbacks, and he's lost to like other hitters like fucking Brandon Moreno, Alexander Pantoja. Like he's only
This
lost
rematch for Pantoja and him.
back. So I look at this fight, the way it goes is I think it's going to be a completely different fight from the last time they fought, even though I wasn't a UFC fan like that. I think Brandon Royval has definitely gotten significantly better. And I think the nerves or anything that they had beforehand is gone. And now this is going to be one of those fights to fight for real. And it's going to be a great fight, the same way that Moreno Pantoja was a great fight. But I think I'm going Brazilians with this one, but I don't know Brandon Royval's fight style like that. Let me know about Brandon Royval.
He comes out of Factory X Muay Thai. He is known for having slower hands, but he has a lot of pop when he lands. But he can scramble with the best of them, which makes this fight. I think it's gonna be very interesting because Pantoja and Royval literally. I know Pantoja submitted him last time, but that happens sometimes. Like it's one of those where it's a flip of a coin. Like these are two of the best scramblers on the mat where maybe we won't even see the mat for this 5-round fight just because how good both of them are. I doubt it just because it's just their bread and butter. They eventually will go back towards it. And I think the Brazilian gets the win because what he showed me on his feet against Moreno, I thought Moreno going to probably have the best boxing in the division, the slippery stand. Pantoja was on the feet, was outstriking Moreno. Like, and was a lot of like heavy shots too. I know it was 5 rounds. Moreno won some, Pantoja won some, but overall he did enough to win the fight on both the ground and on the feet. And I don't think Royval has. They might be equal on the ground. You might even say Pantoja's better on the ground. He does have a submission win over Royval. But then it goes to I think Pantoja's the better striker. Royval's just a little too slow. But yeah, he has more pop, but Pantoja was eating fucking haymakers from Moreno and was not going down. So Royval could do it. I'm a root for old boy, but I think Pantoja's gonna win this fight, his first defense.
Yeah, I like Pantoja too for those similar reasons. But I think because Brandon Royval has already got the submission lost to bro, I don't think he's gonna give his back to him if he's smart. I don't think he's giving his back to him for nothing. And then with that, I think that's going to lead to whoever's the better striker is going to be scoring the most points per round. And I think Pantoja also has the advantage on his feet. So unless Royval can sneak something in and finish this fight, I think it's going to go to decision, and I think Pantoja is going to get his arm raised again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it goes to decision as well. And like you said, unless Royval can land a devastating shot, which is never out of the realm in UFC.
And you got 5 of them, so like we'll see.
And then our next fight and final fight on the slate, Kev, the main event. Leon Rocky Edwards defending his welterweight crown against Colby Chaos Covington. We haven't seen Colby Covington since the Jorge Masvidal win, the Jorge Masvidal pressing charges because he got sucker punched. We haven't seen him since 2022, March 5th. Fun fact, that was our first card we ever covered on this podcast, March 5th, 2022. But now he's challenging. Dana White did say he's next. Leon Edwards and a lot of fans at home said that's bullshit. That's not happening. Here we are. December 16th, it will be happening.
And hey, man, you got Bilal winning as the backup fighter.
He is the backup fighter. I guess that's gonna be something we're gonna be accustomed to for the next few years. I guess that's the new trend in UFC is having a backup fighter at all times.
Yeah, and then that backup fighter just doesn't do shit because they're just sitting down waiting for their championship opportunity. I
They
guess.
should at least bring his ass in for like the press conference, bro. Because I feel like that would make great commentary. Have like a backup fighter talking shit too.
Bro, this entire press conference is about to be crazy. And they said that they're gonna do a big one with everybody. So
Nice, old school.
it's gonna be a vibe. But this press conference is gonna be and then they said the next day Sean Strickland, Jerkers Duplessis, all them, they have a special press conference. So I'm like, oh, this is about to be crazy.
Why not?
Yeah, that's about to be
I
insane.
need
So
Strickland and Ian Garry on the same stage.
no, I need Strickland and Patty Pimblett because Ian Garry and Strickland, you know how that shit's gonna go. You know how to go. At least with Patty's gonna be a little lightheaded. But but I don't know. So this press conference is gonna be crazy. That's Thursday for everybody that tunes in. But this is about to be a fight of the ages. It's actually gonna be a really good fight because I think when I watched Leon, oh wait, my bad. Paul, you got me talking. I forgot to do my there's only one Rocky
Mickey
Edwards.
Edward.
There's only one Rocky Edwards. There's only one Rocky Edwards. But yeah, man, I think this fight is about to be fucking phenomenal. I think it's gonna go all 5 rounds, and I think that is gonna show a weakness that a lot of people don't notice, and it's gonna be on Leon's takedown defense because I think during that Kamaru fight, if Kamaru had wrestled him that second fight, it would have been a little different. And then there was like Leon was doing a lot of like not dirty, but he was doing some slick shit, grabbing the cage, grabbing the gloves, very close low blows. Like he was really pulling out all the stops against Kamaru. So that's why I don't think it's gonna be as clean a fight as we think. I think it's gonna be very similar to Kamaru versus Kobe the first time, and it's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna be a straight war.
Yeah, and so that's crazy that you're coming in complimenting Kobe off rip after all the prior leading up to this fight throughout this whole card, even talking how you don't fuck with my boy Kobe Covington.
I I don't. He's a bitch, but like as a wrestler, I have to respect him because like I know,
Best
and
chain
as a wrestler,
wrestling in the UFC, Kobe Covington.
yeah, you said best who?
Chain wrestling.
I don't know. I don't know. Armand Sarukian might have something to say about that, but
That's what it too.
but but this is I have nothing like. First off, I got nothing but love for these niggas because Kobe was our first fight. The last time I wore this singlet over here was when was in the recap, and I was like, bro, I'm tired of this motherfucker Kobe. I'm gonna come in myself and do it. That's the last time I wore my singlet ever. And like I still have that clip to this day, and I be sending it to my coach whenever it pops up with my for you or my memories. So we got nothing but I got nothing but nostalgic love for this nigga. But I still hate him. He's still a bitch. And like the way that he carries himself is to go against the community that I kind of was a part of for most of my life. So like this nigga loves the police. This nigga screams "Make America Great Again." This nigga calls Jorge Masvidal Street Judas. He calls himself the King of Miami. Like, why would I not hate this thing?
Bro, he is the king of Miami, bro.
Pitbull has something to say about that. Like, you feel me? Like, there's so many niggas that have something to say about that. And I hate him, but at the end of the day, skills are skills. And I think the one thing about Kobe that a lot of people that it's easy to forget is that he wasn't shit when it comes to being a draw. So the fact that he created this character to kind of match the skills, because Brett does have skills, and he got the interim title after only 15 fights. So like he's showed that he was on a tear. And who did he lose to? Who was his first loss? Was his first loss?
Talking about
It wasn't. Nah, Kobe. Was his first loss Kamaru?
in the UFC, I believe so.
Huh, that's crazy. I think he might have lost to somebody before that. But if Kamaru was his first
2015, loss, he lost to Warley Alves. And then after that, he went on like a 7-fight win streak, interim champ, all that.
Nice. So you gotta respect Kobe for what he's done. But at the end of the day, this nigga didn't earn this fucking title fight, even slightly, especially going against Leon who had to fucking fight tooth and nail for like 7 years to get to this point that he's at now. So we'll see how this fight goes. I think it's gonna be a bloodbath. I think it's gonna be a lot of striking. And I think if Leon has great takedown defense, the fight, he can win this fight. But if not, then he just better be ready for war.
See, I will, build up everything. Big Kobe guy over here. Make America great again. Kobe on his way to complete his mission. That man's gonna be champion until I started looking more and more at Leon Edwards, and like even going back to the Bilal Muhammad fight. Bilal Muhammad is a guy who has phenomenal wrestling, can take down almost anybody, but he was completely out of his element going up against Leon Edwards. And I think same with Wonder Boy going against Shavkat, just the footwork of Leon to always be in a position. It's almost like a boxer knowing his back to the ropes. Like the moment Ewan gets close, he knows to do the little pivot, get out of it, back to the center of the ring. I can never get to my back to the ropes. And that's how Leon is with the cage. He's always, and even when he does get on the cage, he does do some dirty stuff like grabbing the cage here or there. But if you're not going to deduct a point at the end of the day, I'm going to keep doing what I got to do to win this fight until y'all start taking points from me.
He doesn't even get warnings. Like, that's crazy.
And I think I'm leaning towards Leon Edwards. I would love to see the Colby win. I'm picking Leon Edwards officially, mostly not only just for that, but I think Colby needs, like, if Colby had better stand up and wasn't just a pure volume striker, like we saw with Jessica Andrade, just pure volume and like the rolling punches walking forward. When you go up against someone who can strike from the outside and have nasty footwork like she did against Blanchfield and like Jan, you could never get close enough to even want to shoot a takedown. And I think that's what we're gonna see. I think we might get a stoppage here from Edwards as well, just because he's also southpaw going against the orthodox. The left straight is gonna be there the whole time as he's trying to walk in or shoot. The left knee, if he wants to shoot that as like a counter to like a shoot from a distance, I think it's all there for him. And Kobe hasn't fought anyone this technical on the feet where it could make it. Yeah, you have great wrestling and you get relentless like cardio to keep going forward, but like let's see how much you want to keep coming forward if you're getting picked off like with heavy shots. And that's where I think his volume strike is not going to look good against someone who can literally pick you off, and you'll never get in that position where you can shoot the takedown that you want.
Facts. Damn, that was a great fucking breakdown, Paul.
Yeah, I think I'm not the Leon Edwards. That's why I think Usman was a greater matchup against Leon Edwards because he has a little bit of both. Where if his shots are so powerful, you can't let him land on you. Whereas Colby, you're okay if he hits it with the pitter patter. Just keep your footwork and keep landing the heavier shot in the exchange.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun press conference, and I would love to see it. I hope they give both of them boys an interview after the fight.
I will say I do have a little parlay for them boys at home. If you parlay Leon Edwards, Pantoja together, just straight up money line champion, both champions walk out with their belts to end the year. You were sitting at like a plus 200 parlay right there alone. And then
Nice.
if you get a little like crazy with it, if you really want to get crazy and you want to add Josh Emmett at the plus 200 odds with it, now you're sitting at the plus 500 odds with a Josh Emmett and the champions to retain their belts. And I think out of the big dogs on the like Josh Emmett to beat Mitchell, I think is a lot more believable than Tony Ferguson over Patty, even though we don't believe in Patty, or Luque over Garry, even though Garry could get dropped in Wonder Boy over Shavkat. Like out of the four underdogs, I think Emmett's probably the safest bet.
Facts.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the parlays I'm cooking. The little simple, keep the champions with their belts, and then give me the Josh Emmett over Bryce Mitchell.
Hell yeah.
Anything you got left on this card? I mean, it's 296, last pay per view of the year. Even if it's just the UFC as a whole, this will be the last card I think we'll be talking for the year.
I mean, no, I think next year my goal is gonna be to practice my MMA phonics, since like being able to say people's names and shit. But besides for that, it's been a great fucking year. Shout out the UFC 30 years. Shit's lit, man. I'm nothing but respect and nothing but love. It's fun being a UFC fan. I enjoyed the fuck out this year. We saw a lot of crazy shit. And Paul, did you? And then I came to realize that I was like, yo, bro, niggas went to two. A nigga went to two events this year. Like, we got to see Izzy fight Alex in Miami. Like,
Yeah,
that's a historic. That's a
I was
historic
just in
moment.
a group chat with Key, Lonnie, Zay, everyone, and I was basically they were like, bro, we need to go to UFC event. And I was like the only one plugged in with UFC. Like I was like, bro, they've been rumoring a Tampa event, but Jacksonville be having fight nights, Orlando be had a fight night this year, and
And
they're like,
UFC 299s in Miami this year,
they're
next
like,
year.
yeah, bro, we need a slide. And I was like, I did go see watch Izzy Pierre 2 in Miami, and people were like, what? You saw the arrows. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, in person. That shit was crazy. I always tell people like, yo, bro, I didn't see the arrows because you don't understand. Like when he got that knockout, like everybody stood the fuck up, and
I
I
was
don't know.
looking at other people more like eye contact with the people below.
Yeah, like we were all genuinely in awe. Like, yo, did that just happen? And like I'm over here just like I could just feel like I remember being like an out of body experience and just watching myself just talk to all the niggas that told me Izzy was gonna get fucked up in the group chat. I'm just over here like, man, fuck y'all bitch ass niggas, man. I fucking told y'all, bro. Like I'm giving it to everybody that can hear it right now, Paul. Like, yeah. So this was a great year. Shout out 30 years to the UFC. I fucking love this sport.
Yes, sir. And state. So this will be the last of the UFC until January. We got Ankalaev Walker 2 to start the year, and then the first pay per view will be 297 Strickland versus Duplessis. So we'll be back for that. But stay tuned with boxing. We still got Bam versus Sonny Edwards, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder on the same card. Anyway, gonna go undisputed in another weight class, all within a year of going undisputed in the prior class. We got crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be a great finish for boxing as well. And of course, we got the NFL getting closer and closer to the playoffs and the Super Bowl come February.
Going bananas.
So yeah, everyone stay tuned for that. Who knows? We might even have a little special NCAA 14, the little college picks edition this year. Who knows? It is the last year of the 4-man playoff bracket. But stay tuned. We got big things coming. And if you're not watching us, go to YouTube and watch us. Way better than just listening to us. And stay tuned on the Twitter page at Totally Blitzed. We'll be having every week, we'll be talking.
Nah, that's real shit, man. But hey, I fucking love y'all boys, man. Let's keep going, man.
And go down, like, and subscribe. Comment your picks. I'm Paul Pick'em Winner with Kevin Street Fight Enthusiast Avoid. Y'all didn't know? Now you know, motherfuckers.